There is a specific kind of tired that has absolutely nothing to do with sleep. You know exactly what I am talking about. Your body might rest in the bed, but your mind is fighting a relentless and silent war. And every single morning you wake up feeling like you have just finished a marathon of pure anxiety. You push through the day and you force a smile for the people around you. But deep inside, you are running on completely empty. You work incredibly hard. You read the right books. You set your goals, and you put in the hours while the rest of the world is sleeping. And yet the breakthrough you were promised never seems to arrive. It feels as though you are driving a heavy car with the emergency brake pulled tight. You look around, and you see average people doing half the work but reaping double the rewards. This makes you question absolutely everything. You start to wonder if you are simply unlucky. You ask yourself if the universe has forgotten about you entirely. The invisible weight on your shoulders grows heavier with every single passing day. You are exhausted. You are heavily frustrated. You are on the verge of walking away from the very empire you swore to build. Stop what you are doing and listen to me. Truly listen. Because the next few minutes will determine whether you spend the rest of your life as a drifter or as a master of fate. Important note. This is timeless wisdom. Read the description below this video to aid you in achieving the optimum results. I am here to tell you a truth that most men will never understand. This is not a lack of effort on your part. You do not have a motivation problem. What you are experiencing right now is not a punishment. It is a precise and calculated test. The chaos in your life is not a sign of failure. It is the absolute proof that your subconscious mind is violently shifting its frequency. Your reality is breaking down to make room for greatness. Let me explain the mechanism of this invisible season. You see, your subconscious is a tireless contractor. It builds exactly what you instruct it to build through your deepest beliefs and dominant thoughts. For years, you have allowed fear and doubt to write the blueprint of your life. You accepted the identity of a drifter, and the universe gave you a drifter's life. But recently, something inside you shifted. You woke up. You decided that you are the creator of your reality. You started to demand wealth, peace, and unshakable power. You planted new seeds in the fertile soil of your mind. And this is exactly where the brutal friction begins. This is where the intense pain is born. The old programming does not want to die quietly. The old identity of the victim is fighting for its survival deep in your brain. When you introduce a high frequency of abundance, your mind goes into a state of shock. The subconscious system detects this new ambition as a deadly threat to its familiar comfort zone, so it fights back. It creates chaos to test your internal resolve. Suddenly, deals fall through. Your relationships become strained and incredibly heavy. Unexpected bills arrive in the mail just when you thought you were getting ahead. Every possible obstacle is thrown directly into your path. The universe is asking you one serious question. Are you truly ready to be the sovereign commander of your life, or will you retreat into the comfortable misery of the blind masses? This is the ultimate filter of greatness. The universe works by precise law and not by clock. It does not hand out glorious empires to men who shatter at the very first sign of resistance. The drifter looks at this chaos and immediately surrenders. He says that life is unfair, and he goes back to sleep. He assumes that the test is a red light, telling him to stop trying. He lowers his standards, and he accepts the crumbs society throws at him. He lets the temporary pain dictate his permanent identity. But you are not a drifter. You are watching this because you belong to the 1% who refuse to be broken. You are the architect of destiny. And an architect knows that before you can build a massive skyscraper, you must first dig a deep and dirty hole. You must tear up the old foundation completely. That destruction is exactly what you are feeling right now. The universe is violently clearing the plot of land. It is tearing down the weak structures of your past to prepare for the heavy weight of your future success. If you do not understand this mechanism, you will panic. You will abandon the construction site before the gold is poured. You must look at your current struggles through a completely different lens. The frustrating delays are not permanent denials. The closed doors are not cruel rejections. They are precise course corrections engineered by a higher intelligence. They are forcing you to elevate your mental state before you receive the ultimate reward. If you were handed massive wealth today, you would likely destroy it. Your nervous system is not yet equipped to hold that level of raw energy. The heavy stress of maintaining a multi-million-dollar empire would crush you. So the subconscious puts you in a training camp. It uses pressure to build your resilience. It uses isolation to teach you how to source your own validation. It removes the wrong people from your life so you can learn how to stand alone. This isolation feels terrible. You feel lonely and completely misunderstood by the people who used to know you. But you are not losing your mind. You are losing your old programming. The people who vibrate at your old frequency can no longer exist in your new reality. They must fall away. It is a painful shedding of the skin, but you must let them go. You cannot drag a dead weight into a glorious future. You must embrace the quiet solitude of the builder. Every great man in history had to walk through this exact fire. Before they became a magnetic force of wealth, they were stripped of absolutely everything. They were pushed to the absolute edge of their sanity. They were tested to see if their belief was conditional or absolute. You are standing in that very same fire today. Conditional belief says, I will trust the process only if things go well. Absolute belief says, I am the master of my fate regardless of what the shadows look like today. This is the sacred line you must cross. Stop waiting for the world to give you permission to feel successful. You must generate it internally. Let us begin. Principle 1 is the law of resistance. You must understand the architecture of your own mind before you can command your destiny. The universe works by law and not by clock. It does not care about your timeline or your impatience. When you finally decide to elevate your frequency, a violent reaction occurs immediately in your life. This is not philosophy. That is law, like gravity. Your old paradigm is a living entity inside your subconscious mind. It has survived for years on your fear and your daily doubts. And now you are starving it by feeding your mind with visions of wealth. The old reality will not just pack its bags and leave peacefully. It will violently fight you. It will fight you with everything it has. It will create physical exhaustion. It will manufacture sudden financial emergencies to test your absolute belief. The subconscious mind is fiercely protective of what is familiar. It actually prefers familiar misery over unfamiliar success, because familiar misery is safe and highly predictable to your nervous system. Listen to me carefully. The chaos you see around you right now is a magnificent sign. It means the law is actively working. You are injecting a massive dose of high-frequency energy into a stagnant system. Think of it like a powerful medicine purging a deep infection from your body. The healing process always looks like a terrible sickness at first. The fever rises, the body aches, you feel incredibly weak. But the illness is not winning. The illness is simply dying a very loud and dramatic death. This is exactly what is happening to your old identity. The drifter inside you is screaming because he knows his time is up. You are starving him of the negative attention he desperately craves. And that is the difference between those who live with purpose and those who drift. The drifter feels the fever and panics. He begs for the old comfort zone. He goes back to his old habits because the pressure is too heavy. But the Creator looks at the burning house and smiles. The Creator knows that the fire is clearing the ground for a palace. You must maintain cold calmness in the face of this destruction. Every thought is a seed, every action is water, and your reality is the inevitable harvest. When the storm hits your life, it is testing the roots of your new thoughts. If you panic and complain, you are watering the weeds. You are literally telling your subconscious to abort the mission. Stop waiting for a smooth transition. Greatness is never born in absolute comfort. It is forged in the crushing pressure of the unknown. Your old reality and your new reality are violently crashing into each other right now. This collision creates a massive energetic friction. That friction is the exhaustion you feel behind your eyes every single day. Now let me make this plain. You cannot outrun this friction. You must step directly into it. The master of fate understands that resistance is the very material of success. An airplane does not take off with the wind, it takes off against the wind. The resistance it fights is the exact mechanism that lifts it into the sky. Your resistance is your lift. Do not resent the heavy obstacles in your path today. Command them. Use them as raw data to refine your focus. The universe is watching your reaction to the chaos. Will you break your vow because a client walked away? Will you abandon your empire because your bank account looks grim this morning? The universe demands absolute certainty from you. If you waver, the test resets. You will be sent back to the starting line, and you will repeat this miserable cycle for another decade. The drifter lives his entire life trapped in this exact loop. He starts strong but collapses at the first sign of resistance. He complains about his unfair life and returns to a quiet desperation. You are not that man anymore. You are a sovereign commander. You understand that the universe operates on the principle of energetic exchange. You must pay the price for your new life in advance. And the currency is not money. The currency is your unwavering focus while everything around you seems to be falling apart. That is the true cost of greatness. Most men are completely terrified of this void. The void is the space between the old reality dying and the new one manifesting. It is dark and entirely unpredictable. Your logical brain will scream at you to retreat to safety, but you must discipline your mind to hold the vision. You must act independently of your current and temporary circumstances. Act as if you are already the king. Walk as if the empire is already built. Speak as if the millions are already sitting securely in your accounts. This is not delusion. This is the advanced science of frequency alignment. You are sending a commanding signal to the quantum field. You are forcing the physical world to catch up to your mental state. The physical world is always the absolute last thing to change. It is heavy and dense. It moves incredibly slow compared to the speed of your thoughts. This delay is the exact reason why the masses die broke. They look at their current reality and they accept it as the final truth. They allow their external environment to dictate their internal weather. You must reverse this ancient error. Your internal weather must dictate your external environment. You are the mental gatekeeper. If you feel anxiety rising in your chest, you do not accept it. You observe it coldly and you dismiss it from your temple. You replace it immediately with a fierce determination. You own the space between your own ears. Think of it this way. Your mind is a fortress. For years you left the gates wide open. Every negative news story and every toxic opinion walked right in. They set up camps in your subconscious and drained your power, but today you are closing those heavy iron gates. You are aggressively purging the intruders from your sacred mental territory. This purge is deeply uncomfortable. The intruders will scream as they are evicted. The bad habits will beg for one more day of indulgence. The toxic relationships will demand your attention and your energy. You must look them in the eye and say absolutely no. You must become utterly ruthless in your cosmic housekeeping. The law requires this violence. Let us look to the example of Thomas Edison. He was a true master of his own reality, but his mental empire was violently tested in the winter of 1914 when his massive laboratory caught fire in the middle of the freezing night. Decades of priceless work were burning directly to the ground. The fierce flames were destroying absolutely everything he had ever built. Most men would have fallen to their knees in deep despair. But Edison did not panic. He did not cry about his terrible luck. He called his son over and told him to watch the magnificent fire because he knew they would never see anything like it again. He stood there with cold calmness while his entire life was reduced to ashes. He bypassed the victim identity. He calmly told his family that there is massive value in this terrible disaster because all their hidden mistakes were finally burned up. He understood that the universe was clearing the ground for a massive evolution. And within 3 short weeks, he delivered his next great invention. How did a man with a burned-down empire create a miracle in 21 days? He used a specific mental protocol that you must replicate tonight. It was not blind optimism. It was a precise biological mechanism working inside his brain to filter out the noise and locate the hidden solution. This brings us to the science of your own mind. There is a bundle of nerves at the base of your brain stem. It is called the Reticular Activating System. This system is the ultimate gatekeeper of your physical reality. At every single second, millions of bits of data are flying toward your senses, and if your brain processed all of it, you would literally go crazy. So the system acts as a strict filter. It only lets in the information that matches your deeply held beliefs. This is exactly where the masses fail completely. They program their system with fear and anxiety every single morning. They worry about the bills and they stress about their unfair jobs. So the gatekeeper does its job and filters out all the golden opportunities, while it only shows them more reasons to be miserable and heavily stressed. Your reticular activating system does not care if a belief is good or bad. It only obeys your absolute commands. When Edison watched his factory burn, he commanded his system to look for the hidden advantage. He refused to program his brain with defeat. So his system immediately went to work, filtering out the trauma, and it began scanning his chaotic environment for the exact resources he needed to rebuild quickly. You are experiencing the same process. The heavy friction in your life is the old programming fighting the new command. You told your brain that you are a wealthy builder, but your physical environment still looks like the life of a drifter. This massive gap creates intense cognitive dissonance. The brain hates this painful dissonance, and it will try everything it can to force you back into your old comfort zone. It will highlight every single obstacle in your path. It will make the delays feel like permanent and brutal failures. But you must understand that this is only a biological illusion. If you get emotional and complain about the struggle, you are giving the old program the power, and you are literally telling the gatekeeper that the drifter is still firmly in charge. You must overrule this primitive reaction. You must hold the vision of your empire with violent focus. When a deal falls through, you must command your brain to find the better deal waiting behind it. When a friend betrays you, must see it as the universe removing a toxic leak from your ship. You have to force the gatekeeper to prove your new reality by scanning for wealth. Let us look at another giant of history. Andrew Carnegie was once a poor immigrant with zero advantages in life. He had no money, and he had absolutely no formal education. But he knew that wealth was fundamentally an inside job. He did not chase the money with endless physical hustle like the blind masses do today. But instead, he magnetized the money by tuning his mind. He tuned his frequency to absolute abundance. Carnegie wrote down his definite chief aim, and he obsessed over it. He gave his subconscious mind a flawless blueprint to execute. He experienced massive setbacks that would crush an average man. He faced economic depressions, and he dealt with ruthless competitors who wanted to destroy him. But he never allowed the chaos inside. He never allowed the external chaos to penetrate his mental fortress because his internal weather remained perfectly calm at all times. He understood the hidden law. He knew that every adversity carries the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. This is the exact secret the Titans used to build generational wealth. They did not pray for an easy and comfortable life. They demanded a disciplined mind that could extract gold from the dirt. The drifter panics when he sees dirt, but the Creator simply asks where the gold is hidden inside that heavy pile of failure. Now you know the profound mechanism. The science of neurology and the history of Titans point to the exact same truth. Your reality is a mirror reflecting your mental state. If the mirror shows a chaotic storm today, you do not try to fix the mirror, but rather you must fix the exact face that is looking directly into it. You must elevate your frequency until the environment has no choice but to completely submit to your unshakable will. Do not let the current exhaustion fool you into a tragic surrender right before the massive victory. It is checking if your desire is a weak wish or an unbreakable vow. A weak wish shatters under the weight of a burned-down factory. An unbreakable vow builds a brighter light from those very ashes, proving that you are the architect and the ashes are just your new bricks. The drifter will ignore this profound truth. The Master will use it tonight to reclaim his power. Which one are you? You now understand the biological and historical proof of your own potential. But understanding the law is only step one. Now you must learn exactly how to weaponize this knowledge. And that brings us to the daily ritual that you must use tonight in order to force reality to bend to your strict commands. Now we are getting close to the thing you can actually do. You have learned the profound mechanism of the universe. The drifter hears this heavy truth and does absolutely nothing, but the Creator equips his mind for the coming war. It is time to establish the daily protocol. You must learn exactly how to protect your sacred energy from the noisy masses. The first step of this protocol is mastering cold calmness. When the violent storm hits your life, your biological instinct is pure panic. You feel the heavy anxiety building in your chest, and you desperately want to react and complain about your situation. But you must stop immediately. Emotional reaction is the weak language of the victim. The sovereign commander does not react to temporary chaos. He observes the massive destruction from a silent and powerful distance. When a big client walks away or a heavy bill arrives, you do not panic. You simply look at the failure as raw data, and you adjust your strategy without shedding a single tear. It is just basic information. Say this aloud right now. I am the absolute master of my focus. Say it until your physical body actually believes the heavy words. You must completely detach your deep emotions from the temporary physical reality around you, because you are the mental gatekeeper of your own sacred temple. You decide exactly what energy is allowed to enter the gates. If you let the chaotic external world dictate your internal state, you lose the game immediately. You must build a massive iron wall between your mind and the noisy society. This requires a ruthless level of daily discipline. You must forcefully enforce the timeless law of cosmic housekeeping, and the universe respects the man who cleans his own house. Cut off the toxic relationships in your life immediately. Stop consuming the fearful news that the weak society feeds you every single morning. You cannot build a massive empire on a fragile foundation of cheap gossip and digital garbage, so you must protect your daily focus like a hidden treasure. Your attention is the most valuable currency on earth. Now we move to the most critical mechanism of your entire day. The last 15 minutes before you fall asleep are the most important minutes of your life. This is the exact moment when the conscious mind finally steps aside. The heavy gates of your brain open completely, and you have direct access to the hidden control room of your reality. Your subconscious is wide open and highly ready to receive its daily instructions. The drifter goes to sleep thinking about his angry boss and his empty bank account. He literally hands his inner contractor a blueprint of pure misery. And the tireless contractor builds that exact misery for him to wake up to the very next morning. You will never do this terrible thing again. From this night forward, you will strictly practice the night ritual of the ancient Titans. You will shut off all your digital screens 30 minutes before you sleep. You will sit in total darkness and absolute silence. You will forcefully command your frequency before your head even touches the pillow, and you will set the exact energetic tone for the next day. Write down your definite chief aim on a clean piece of paper. You must state exactly what you demand from the universe. Do not write down what you vaguely want to get. Write down the exact wealth you are commanding into physical existence, and be incredibly specific and crystal clear with your heavy demands. The universe only obeys absolute clarity. Read the heavy words out loud with absolute and unshakable power. Feel the intense reality of the words vibrating deep in your chest. You must act as if the massive wealth is already sitting in your bank account today. You must feel the profound gratitude of a strong man who has already won the violent war, because the victory is already yours to claim. This intense feeling is the secret language of the quantum universe. The subconscious mind does not understand basic English words. It only understands the high frequency of your raw and disciplined emotion. When you fall asleep in the proud state of a wealthy creator, true magic happens, and you are actively rewiring the complex architecture of your entire brain. Your brain will spend the next 8 hours searching for the exact solutions you desperately need. It will reorganize your neurological pathways to perfectly align with your heavy demands. You will wake up with a strange and incredibly powerful clarity. You will know exactly what you must do to collapse time, and you will achieve your massive goals today. But you must execute this strict protocol every single night without any exception. You cannot do it for 3 simple days and then complain that you are still completely broke. The universe is violently testing your absolute commitment. It wants to see if you are a temporary tourist or a permanent resident in the sacred land of the 1%. A weak tourist visits greatness only when the weather is perfectly nice. A strong resident builds his house on greatness and refuses to leave when the violent storms arrive. You must decide to become the permanent resident today. You must boldly stake your claim on the sacred territory of the wealthy titans, and you must never let the temporary pain stop you. During the hard day, you must always maintain the attitude of a sovereign commander. Walk with the heavy posture of a successful king, even if your pockets are currently empty. Speak with deep and undeniable authority. People will immediately notice a strange and highly magnetic aura radiating from your physical body, and they will absolutely feel your heavy presence. They will wonder what hidden advantage you actually possess. They will not know that your unfair advantage is simply a highly disciplined mind. You are actively operating on a frequency that the weak masses cannot even comprehend. You are a living and breathing magnet for massive abundance, and you are the ultimate architect of your own glorious destiny. Now comes the heavy turning point of your journey. You have heard the timeless law of the universe. You understand the brutal mechanism of your own mind. The heavy exhaustion you feel is simply the old paradigm dying a necessary death. And as you stand at the absolute edge of this massive cliff today, you must remember that the universe is actively watching every single move you make. It is waiting for your strict command. It is waiting for you to claim your power. The drifter will hear this wisdom and do absolutely nothing. He will feel a temporary spark of motivation. He will return to his old misery tomorrow. He will let the chaotic circumstances of life crush his fragile spirit because he refuses to take control of his own wandering mind. But you are absolutely not a drifter. You are watching this because you feel the heavy call to greatness. You know you were meant for more. You know the struggle is just a test. The world is waiting for a disciplined thinker. It is waiting for a conscious creator. That exact man is buried deep inside of you. And it is finally time for you to wake him up and take back the control that you have surrendered for so many years. You must stop waiting for a savior. No one is coming to rescue you. The cavalry is not coming to save your business. You must save yourself right now. You are the only savior you will ever need. You must look in the mirror. Demand absolute excellence from the man looking back. You must say to yourself that there will be absolutely no more small thinking, and you will never play the pathetic victim ever again. No more letting invisible fear write the script. That chapter is permanently over. The old book is completely burned. The ashes are blowing away in the cold wind. A new chapter begins with a violent decision. You are one single decision away from momentum. You are one mental shift away from freedom. But that profound shift will never happen unless you force it to happen tonight while the rest of the world is deeply asleep. So I challenge you right now. I invite you to make a choice. Will you accept the massive responsibility of a king, or will you hide in the shadows? Will you return to the noisy chaos? Will you step into the quiet power? The universe does not respond to weak men. It responds to kings who command their reality. The universe demands absolute certainty from you, and it will only reward the man who speaks to it with the heavy tone of a sovereign commander. Every excuse you made was a shadow. Every fear you felt was a complete lie. The test is almost over for you. The heavy test you face is an illusion. It is designed to keep the weak down, but you have the hidden knowledge now. You possess the exact protocol to bypass the primitive fear, and you know exactly how to build your massive empire from the ashes of your old life. There is no neutral thought in this world. Every thought pushes you forward or pulls you. You must police your mind. with absolute and ruthless violence. It moves you toward total freedom. It reinforces your heavy bondage. The man who realizes this profound truth begins to treat his thoughts as dangerous tools, and he never treats them as cheap toys again. You must kill the old version tonight. Let the exhausted victim die in the fire. Say goodbye to the man who complained about his bad luck. Welcome the architect of destiny into your sacred temple today. The universe demands a heavy sacrifice. It will not hand you the keys freely. The only sacrifice it requires is your broken identity. You must completely surrender the weak drifter today so that the powerful master of fate can finally step forward and claim his rightful throne. The time for drifting is officially over. Tonight you must make a final choice. The invisible season is ending. The season of harvest is finally here. If you are truly ready to command destiny, you must seal your decision right now. You did not click this video by accident. You came here as a man exhausted by the endless drift, and you are completely tired of playing the victim to your temporary circumstances. But today you have remembered who you are. You are the mental gatekeeper of your temple. You hold the ultimate power of creation. You possess the key to the universe. From this night forward, you act independently. You do not rely on cheap motivation. You are a powerful builder in the dark. Stand up and boldly claim your heavy throne, because you are the sovereign architect and the world has absolutely no choice but to bend to your iron will. So what will your final legacy be? Will you let temporary doubt define you? Will you fold when the pressure gets incredibly heavy? Will you surrender your massive dreams? Will you look fear directly in the face? Will you look at the storm and smile? The choice is entirely up to you tonight. Leave your most important vow in the comments below, and let those written words be the sacred contract you sign with the quantum universe. Write your definite purpose right now. State it with absolute and unshakable power. Do not hesitate for a single second. Hesitation is the true death of destiny. Do not just listen and walk away. Seal your heavy commitment in solid stone. Let the whole world witness your amazing transformation. This hidden knowledge is incredibly heavy, and it will not serve you if you only hear it once and let it fade into tomorrow. The subconscious requires massive daily repetition. It needs repetition to build a new world. You must bombard your mind with the frequency of absolute and undeniable wealth. Therefore, I command you to listen again. Listen to this lesson again and again. Play it as you do your hard work. Play it as you fall asleep tonight, and make these timeless principles the only voice you tolerate inside your sacred head from now on. Subscribe to this channel if you walk this path. Join the quiet ranks of the 1%. We are a tribe of relentless builders. We are the sovereign commanders of our own fate. We refuse to live an average life. We demand greatness from the cold universe. Return to this video every single night. Return here until your physical reality completely bends to your disciplined will, because your brand new life officially begins in this exact moment. Make the final decision right now. Step out of the heavy shadows. Walk directly into the brilliant light of your massive success. Your empire is waiting for you to claim it.